Sports Hip Hop with DJ Mad Max, Live 365, iHeartRadio. We have one of the nicest up and coming pop R&B stars in the game joining me here for the show here tonight. Sports and Hip Hop with DJ Mad Max. Never Met a Me, available on all platforms right now. Teenear, welcome to the show. How's everything going?
Everything's great. Thank you for having me.
Of course. How are you feeling about the release and the traction around it? We're gonna get into all the tracks moment. We're gonna get into a few of them there. So how are you feeling
Mhm.
about the all the noise around the new album?
Oh, it's been amazing. Like, I'm still taking it in every day. I'm enjoying the moment.
Why do you think it's so hard? Because I mean, we look at social media and everything is just so fast now. But why do you think that even when we say that we need to live in the moment, why it's still so hard to do so nowadays? Because even look, you look at the time this year blew by fast, and we're already heading towards the middle of August now. And it's just why do you think it's so hard to live in the moment nowadays?
I don't know. I just feel like we've gotten really creative, especially after 2020. Like, everyone's figured out something else to do. And like, you just got to keep going. You can't stop. Not time is not waiting on anybody. And I think everyone's picked up on that. And they're making the most out of every situation. And I love it though.
You do. Do you always find it something productive to do every day? Are you one of those people? How do you kind of plan out your goals? What kind of, because I know you wake up, you have a journal. I did know that in doing my research. You do have a journal every day. So are you someone that wants to accomplish something every day, or do you look at more as like a week thing? Let me see what I can accomplish this week. What's your scheduling based off of goals?
I would really say it's just based off of what I need to accomplish maybe that week or that month. And if I do have moments where I'm like, I could take this day to just relax, I will. Cause I appreciate those moments. Cause when you're busy, like you can't stop and you have to be ready for it. So for the majority of the time, I'm making sure that I have a schedule. Every night I kind of make a checklist for myself to make sure I get things done because it's a lot of movement going on right now. And I don't want to be the reason things don't happen, you know? My team is relying on me.
Yeah. And we got the new song on the album Moment with Rick Ross. And this was something that when you were recording the track, you heard his voice on. I did see something on Twitter yesterday. People were saying that he was voted the most dopest voice in hip hop. And he
Oh my
really has a distinct voice when you listen to it.
God.
I did see that on Twitter. People were all voting for his voice. When we look at Rick Ross, because he had the history there with Slip Inside Records. So when did you find out that he was going to be on the record? Because you wrote that on a board that he was going to be on the record manifesting it, and then it happened 2 months later. So kind of
Yeah.
describe to me the moment when you found out it was coming into fruition.
I remember it was probably like 9 p.m. at night. I got a text and it was just like, listen to this. And I played the track and I just remember hearing Slip and Slide Records. And I was just like, what? It was like a surreal moment that I just felt like listening to the track, I was like, this is perfect. And honestly, when he did it, there's so much more that he put onto the song. And I had to like take some things out. But when I say I was just so grateful to have him be a part of it because you could genuinely tell that he loved it as well. And he put his best efforts behind it. And it was just so much love. I appreciate him so much.
You could tell in the song, he even says it. I love this. He and just
Yeah,
shouting you out on the song. You could tell he was vibing. It reminded me of a new Aston Martin music. It was
I
yeah,
keep
in that
saying
way.
that.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. And I'm not mad at it. Some people were like, you know, everyone has their opinions, but I was like, it's been some time. Why not?
Yeah. Wow. There were people that had something to say against the track. Really?
Oh, for sure. But you know, that's life. Everyone has, there's a positive and negative to everything.
Yeah, haters, of course, you're always gonna have them. If you don't have haters, you're not winning. But I think the track was amazing. I really don't care what they
Thank
said. So,
you.
so when you were talking with Ross, because I know you got to know him a little bit more, is this something that's gonna become frequent? Are you guys gonna be linking up in the studio again? Because I think you two make a powerful duo.
Thank you so much. You never know. We
Yeah.
definitely are close. We both live in Miami and I think we have a great connection when it comes to making music. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. How do you feel about the overall music scene in Miami? I mean, you're doing your thing. Rick Ross, of course, is a legend out there. So, how do you feel about the overall music scene in Miami right now?
I feel like Miami There's a lot going on. Miami's a very colorful place. I feel like everyone here, they got their own little lane going on, and they're taking over their thing.
A big sports market, Heat, Dolphins. You got the Marlins out there. We're gonna get into this because your performance for the Heat game, you performed for one of the national anthems. So how was
Oh
that
my
moment?
gosh, that was years ago. Yes, that was a moment. I remember. It's like the start of everything for me.
Huge. What was this when LeBron was still on the Heat, or was this
No,
afterwards?
I feel like I don't know what year LeBron got onto the Heat. I'm not gonna lie, but it
I
might
think
have been.
2011 around that era. Yeah,
Yeah,
2011, 2012.
yes. So he had to be still on the team at the time.
Yeah. I love when LeBron was, because I'm a Knicks fan, but I did like when LeBron was on the Heat. That was definitely a time you winning the two chips there.
I know. That was like probably the first time that like my whole family like came together and they were like head on for Heat. Like we're Miami natives, but for that moment, it was like a family gathering every
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, no, congratulations on just those two championships there. Maybe the Knicks will get there someday. I highly doubt it, but they're putting a team together. But we got never met a me available on all platforms now. Why did you kind of want? Because it's a statement album. So what did it click for you as far as the title goes? Was it a situation that you went through? Because I feel as though you go through a lot of trials and tribulations in this industry. People doubting you, people passing on you. It just a lot of, a lot of things that come with this industry.
Yeah.
You've even talked about having four friends, so a lot of people, they're going to try to use you and play games with you. So what was the situation that clicked for the title Never Met a Me?
For me, honestly, I've been in the industry for a while now, and I was putting out a lot of singles for a long time. And this moment was really like an introduction of myself. I felt like because it was the first time I actually put a body of work together, and I'm finally in a place where I feel like I'm confident in who I am and I understand the purpose that I'm stepping into. So why not say like, you've never met a me? I'm Teenear. Here it is. And I feel like it's something a lot of people can, step into as well. Like we should step into that confidence because we're all unique individuals and we all have different purposes.
I agree, and I think the title's perfect. And how does your parents feel about this? Because early on in their career, I heard, because your father's in the industry,
Uh-huh.
how they were kind of, they didn't want you to get in the industry, is what I was learning about early on. So how do they feel now?
Honestly, still to this day, they're very hesitant about it because they know the ups and the downs, the ins and the outs of it. So it's a game. 9 times out of 10, I have to definitely stand my ground on a lot of things because they're trying to be protective, obviously, but taking it day by day. But they support me to the fullest, and I appreciate that.
That's good. Is that why you were recording the covers early on in your closet so that they wouldn't hear you and know about it?
Oh my gosh, you did your research. Oh my god, those cover days, like, I just knew there was a moment where I just knew I loved music so much, and I was like, "I'm gonna put myself out there then and do what I have to do." My family had a whole studio, and it took years before I even got into the studio. I was sitting in my closet with my little blue microphone and GarageBand. Those are good times, though.
Rihanna was the first one that you did. Is that the one you posted online?
Yes, "Stay" by Rihanna. I love that song, and, I feel like during that time, I was still, like, growing up I think I was probably, like, in middle school, but for some reason, that song stuck to me. I don't know what I was going through, but it inspired me.
And you actually, which is interesting, because I did go to a Catholic school. You went to a Christian school. So how was your experience being in that environment? Because people really don't know what it's like unless you're in it, and it's
They
terrible.
don't. I mean, I feel like I realized because after for most of my life I was in a Christian school, but then for high school I went to a school where like people were just whoever they are. And I realized how different it really is. And for some instances I'm grateful for that experience. And then there's other situations where I'm like, I wonder where I would have been if I didn't like if I wasn't born into that, you know what I mean? But there's a lot of differences. I'm not too mad at it, but it's very strict being in like any type of religious school, but there are moments that you gotta appreciate as well.
Now, because I remember hearing about your journey and just when the quarantine happened, that's when you got back with your relationship with God. Was the reason
Mm.
why you grew apart with that relationship because of your experiences, maybe negative experiences that you had when you were at Christian school?
No, I wouldn't say my Christian schools had to do anything with that, but I do know that, like, growing up, being put into that environment immediately, you kind of don't make that decision for yourself. Like, it's kind of something that your parents made for you. But I know in 2020, for me, I had different situations go on in my life that made me realize I needed to find something to lean on. And I ended up leaning on God and finding my own relationship within that. And it wasn't because my parents said it. It was because I found that and I took that time to find that and why I loved it. And I feel better about it now that I know it's because of me.
Yeah. At these schools, when you were at school, I heard Justin Bieber, everyone was obsessed with him at that time. I still don't get the obsession, but he's a big pop star. I get it. But you wrote to his one of his instrumentals. That's when it clicked for you.
Yes, I'll never forget. Everyone at school was going crazy over him. I sat in my bed for hours searching Justin Bieber. I went down a loophole. I fell in love, I'm not gonna lie. And then I saw he was doing a contest, and I was like, why not? And that was the first time I ever expressed myself writing, and I just fell in love with that because I'm told a lot that I'm not an affectionate person and I don't express myself. So this is my outlet for sure.
Well, I disagree with that. If you heard the album, you definitely did.
Thank you. But that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Like, music became my way of expressing because I'm not good in relationships and just telling you my feelings. Like, I don't know why.
Is it because of social media?
I don't, social media probably does play a role in it because there's so much going on all the time. And but I just think in general, like, I just have a hard time expressing myself because you just never know people's intentions, and then I kind of hide behind putting it behind an instrumental.
Yeah. And I had Elijah Blake on last night. It's interesting you bring up the social media thing because I say it all the time. It's completely toxic now with everything going on social media with the whole dating culture. And Elijah Blake was on here talking about just his album and the whole because he's someone that takes relationships seriously. He's like, I don't do open relationships. Like, what is that? And we called it out with always being dogs. But then we went to the point because I know you always because I heard you in a couple interviews. You're like these men. I'm gonna twist the tables a little because we know that men have been terrible for a while. But do you think that women are kind of now the new men in a way? They're playing into it.
I definitely agree. And
Yeah.
I feel like even if, like, bring music into this, no one is talking about love anymore. Like, everyone wants to play hard. And it's like, we still love each other. You know you want to call him. Just call him. Why are we doing this?
Everybody wants to be a player now.
Everyone wants to be a player. Everyone wants to be toxic. And it's like, come on, guys. That is the biggest thing for me because I love love. And if I feel like I can't openly express myself because I'm like, are we playing this game right now? It's annoying.
It is. And I saw a video on Twitter yesterday. It was, I think a husband put like a camera in the house, and it was when he went off to work, a woman was inviting all these guys over on different days. And
What?
I'm just like, are you kidding me? I said, I want no part of this culture. I said, this is just toxic. And it's not even just to say that's what men are doing it too, but it's just the environment that we're living in now. Why can't you just have a closed, secluded relationship? It's got to be open and all these dirty games going on. It's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. And everyone is just kind of accepting it and leaning in that. And I'm just like, I still want to get married. I still believe in love.
Yeah, is marriage even a thing anymore? Is that even a thing?
I hope so.
It's crazy that what we're seeing. People are getting with people that they don't even like, and then they like someone.
It's too much. Too many games.
It's ridiculous. I really don't understand it. Welcome to 2024 dating, and I'm not involved. I'm just not getting. It's terrible. But
Oh, boy.
Oh, it's crazy. But when we look at just everything that you've been through, because you've started out with musical theater, you did want to get into acting. You do have the MTV Siesta key. You have your experience being on there with reality TV. We'll get into that. But how is the acting thing going? Because I did hear that you wanted to be in a few movies. That's your goal.
Yeah. I honestly haven't tapped into that just yet. I definitely want to make sure music is like my starting ground and make my name there. But I did put out my project now, so that makes me feel a lot better about things. And we'll see what happens in the next few months because acting was definitely my first love, and I still love it. I feel like in a way, just how I said I hide behind lyrics, like I like hiding behind other personas and like characters. So I don't know, maybe I like to hide a little bit, but I'm gonna get back into that soon.
Grease is your favorite movie. I did read about
Oh
that
my
online.
gosh, yes.
So is that a type of role that you want to play? Something in like a musical movie? What's your type of roles that you do want to go after?
Oh my god, I would love to do a musical. Like Grease is my top one, number one movie, and I think it also because not only just it being a musical, like I said, I love love and I love little stories that create like the perfect love stories. So I feel like that's something I definitely want to do. But I would love to also play a role where I'm like a villain because I feel like I'm such a nice person. It would be nice to just like tap into like a villain.
Well, maybe you could be the avenger of toxic relationships, like the person that cheats. You can go out and I don't know, kill him. I don't know. I don't know what kind of villain we want to look at.
Just the villain in the plot. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Capture them. Who knows? Yeah. Oh, now we talk about villains. Superhero. Is it like a superhero film that you would want to be? Something like that?
I would love to be a part of a superhero like film because Marvel, DC, once you get a role on one of those platforms, you're set for
You're
life.
set for life because you got to think about the merchandise, the conventions, the
Oh,
signing. It's unbelievable.
unbelievable. That'll be a dream. And like my brother is a huge Marvel fan, so I already know he'll be obsessed with it. He'll be my little coach. He'll give me all the information I need.
How about a horror film? Would you play a villain in a horror film?
Okay, I'm a little afraid with
A
horror
little afraid.
only because like I honestly love scary movies. I have since I was little. But it's the after, like going to bed or like being by yourself is the worst in the world. And recently I've become like a little chicken. I don't want to watch but I don't know, maybe it's the adrenaline of watching it. I love scary movies so much, but I can't do it by myself anymore.
What's your favorite scary movie, and what's the one that kept you up most recently?
Honestly, I used to be really afraid of Jeepers Creepers. Like
Okay,
that
yeah,
was
with Justin Long.
oh my god, that was like my favorite scary movie back in the day, like for real. And now I watch it, I'm like, why were you afraid of that movie? That would be like my number one like favorite scary movie. Recently, I tried to watch Smile, and somebody told me that's not really a scary movie, but I couldn't get through it. Get through it. It creeped me out too much.
Yeah, people are like committing suicide in it when they see the smile, or you die in 7 days. Yeah,
Something like that. I couldn't. I started it and I was like, no, never mind.
too
that,
creepy.
that one definitely creeped me out. Uh,
That would you like to do more reality TV? Because I know you did enjoy having experiences with just different people on that set, being involved in that.
yeah, I mean, I would want to do it if I could have a little bit more control of like the narrative and like the production end of things after, because reality TV is there's a lot going on, and you got to be careful about what you say because they could cut it up and create something that didn't even happen. Especially if you're not in control of that. So it's an interesting game to be playing. But I enjoyed it. It's something that I'm really glad I experienced.
And you've been working at this for a while, as we mentioned, since you were young, working your way up. And I did read, is this true online that one of your first performance ever on stage was the national anthem and it didn't go as well? Was that right?
Oh my gosh. I don't think that was like my very first performance, but it was in the earlier days. And yes, it was horrible. It was at a pageant. I think that was my first pageant.
Okay.
And oh my gosh, I'll never forget. Right before going on, I was kind of nervous, and my sister was like, "It's okay, go out there and you work the stage." And I was like, "Okay, I got it. I'm work the stage." No one works the stage for the national anthem. I remember getting to like the high part, and I was out of breath. I couldn't breathe. I just looked over to my parents' table like, "Help!" And that's it. We don't even gotta speak anymore. It's really bad.
But you conquered the fears. You went out there, did you
I did.
dominated the Heat performance and every other performance you've been on stage, you've
Yeah,
passed that. And just think about all the celebrities that do these games today. They're always get the national anthem is probably the most difficult thing to do because it's not written to be a song. It's written as a poem. So when you're singing it and you can't hit these bridges, that's why a lot of celebrities are always crucified for when they have a
right.
terrible perform. And a lot of them do have, and these are professionals that just
They
slander
make
it.
their own renditions of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we learn from those moments.
We do, and you have. And what would you say besides the Miami Heat performance has been your most memorable one?
My most memorable, I would say maybe I would say my last performance. I had a Trina. Trina's an artist down here. She's also signed to Slip and Slide. Well, she was. Legend of Slip and Slide. She had a Trina Day show, and I did a performance there for her. And I'm a really big, like, I like putting on productions and like just putting it all together. And that was the last time I really got to put everything together, meaning like my track, making sure everything was like on time, doing dances. Like I enjoy all of that and just creating a show. So that was my last most memorable one for sure.
And you got some more down the road. You got a perform moment with Rick Ross
Yes,
I got to see that live perform. That would be tough for sure.
I know. I'm excited. We haven't performed together yet, but it's coming for sure.
The chemistry's there in the video. You could tell. We're gonna get it more into it because when we look at songs overtime outside, I think outside is one that really puts you in the pop bracket to me because there's always that instance to where they try to trap you into being an R&B singer, but I feel as though you transcended that on this album. You can do pop records and R&B, similar to a Rihanna and a Beyonce. They're bigger than R&B. They just like to keep R&B artists in a bracket.
I know.
Yeah, and then you have people that say that Justin Bieber's the king of R&B, which is completely blasphemous. I mean, he's a pop artist. I mean,
I know. And it's crazy because I know when I first started, my first song was definitely like a pop record, and a lot of my first records were pop records.
Days of Gemini, that was the first one.
Yes, my first one, and they immediately put me in an R&B box, and at that time I wasn't. I was really like I loved pop music, but then I guess as I got older and like went through different situations, R&B was like the realm that I found myself in, and it just felt good. But I love music in general. I've always said for years now, before country became like popular, I was like, I might do a country song one day. And I still might, because I love music and I love the fact that you could just, I personally know that I could just switch up my sound a lot. And I'm ready to explore that.
Yeah. Were you inspired by Nelly and Tim McGraw's song? Was that something that sparked the interest in country when you were younger?
No, I feel like when I first like, I actually do have a song that kind of is country ish. But I remember it's not necessarily a country song, it's more like Motown feeling. And that was the first time I ever like completely went left from the R&B and pop sound, and I feel like that was a moment for me that I was like, "Oh, I can do this." And it was because of the Megan Trainor song and John Legend. Oh my
Okay.
god, so good. That really sparked like oh, let's try something new in me, and we're going to get into that soon for sure.
Yeah. Your two biggest influences are Beyonce and Michael Jackson, and we're seeing what Beyonce's doing with country, as you mentioned before. Michael Jackson, what's your top quality that you admire about Michael Jackson? Even I'd love to hear your favorite album by him.
I would say for me, it's like even for both him and Beyonce, it's not necessarily just their music. I love the fact that they are so creative and able to like um just create so much when it comes to music, but I like the fact that they built a big brand for themselves. Excuse me. They built a brand that like it goes beyond music. They started in the music industry, but like Beyonce, she's been in movies. Michael Jackson has just done so much. When you hear his name or hear her name, you see all these different branches. And at the end of the day, that's what I want to do. I have so many goals. Like I want to get in movies. I love skincare. I love makeup. I'm a really like accessory person. Like there's just so many things that I just see myself getting into. And I think that for me is the most inspiring to just become a brand.
And you're doing that, and you have your own fan base, the T-Birds.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. I remember when I think someone on my team they had started that and I was like, "Oh my god, that's so cute." And I have my little T-bird logo. Yeah,
Wow.
that's the goal. Become a brand and have my little team follow me.
For the album, what's your favorite record on here for Never Met Me? What's the one that you're really going towards now, and one that you notice the fans are really gravitating towards?
For me, I love Never Met Me.
Never Met It, yeah, the first track.
The first track, I feel like that truly embodies the essence of everything that I am right now. And when I was creating it, it just felt so raw and just like a vibe of just like how I'm feeling and expressing myself. And it resonates with me the most. And I'm happy because that was the first time I ever repped Slip and Slide and ever repped Miami. So that's really like my number one baby. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. And you have the history there with Slip and Slide because Trina and Trick Dad were always open to giving you advice and being in his music video when you were a kid with the water gun I heard about, yeah.
Yes. Yes. I remember those days. I will never forget being in that music video because my mom gave me her real diamond earrings, and she, to this day, she never lets it down that I lost one of her earrings.
Oh, yeah, you had to pay for that.
Yeah, right. But yeah, they've always been super supportive and just like watching me grow up, especially like now with me like putting out my project and them seeing me like move, they're just like, oh my God, you're like not little Teenear anymore. And I love that because I know for a minute, even with like my father being in the industry, I never spoke on that. That was never something I ever led with because I genuinely wanted to create a name for myself. Because the people that did know me, like, I don't want to be introduced as like so and so's daughter. Like, I want to be Teenear. So like now I feel like I'm finally in a place where I have things behind me and time behind me that I'm getting more of that like respect in a way, especially when it comes to the people here in Miami.
I agree, yeah, there's a lot of people that like to put people in a box as far as when they come from someone who's in the industry, and
Yeah.
I don't think you're in that box, I really don't.
Thank you.
Yeah. Are you looking to get on a tour now with the album? Is this the gonna be the next move?
Yes, I definitely want to get on tour. I've been praying and manifesting that. So hopefully the next time we talk, I'm like, I'm on tour.
Yeah. Where are you looking to travel most to?
Ooh. I really want to make it out to like Japan.
Mm.
I've gotten so much support over there, like from day one. And I feel like why wouldn't I go over there? And then if you know, like Japan is like really big on like R&B. So I'm like, that is the place to go. I have never been over there. And I was honestly gonna go in 2020, but just for like fun. But I'm like, I need to go over there, do a tour, and meet these people that are making dances to my songs.
Yeah, and they're the ones that they're gonna start the trend for you, and then you're gonna have the worldwide audience because now you're overseas.
Exactly. Exactly. That
That's
is
important.
mhm.
I definitely think you did your thing with this album, especially with the features. All you need is one. I think people overkill as for they overkill it nowadays with the features, and it takes away from their artistry. And I think you were able to display who you are as an artist on this album, and that's what we need more of. A lot of times, people are so quick to clout chase and get features, and I think
Mhm.
you know what you're doing.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And
Yeah.
I'm genuinely like happy with how everything played out. And I know there are moments where I'm like, I've thought of having other people on songs, but I'm like, no, like this is my baby. Let me just put it out. If it happens in the future, it happens, but let me give the world me, you know?
Mhm. It's because we know Miami's your home, and it's because a lot of times artists have trouble making it from where they're from. They have to relocate. How do
Mhm.
you feel about where your second home could be, or are you looking to just stay in Miami? Do you think you everything have you thought about possibly trying to find a second home, or because I mean, slip and slides there, you're embraced by your it's so rare to see that.
I know. Honestly, I feel like Miami's always gonna be my home
Yeah.
for sure. But I have had moments where I'm like, let me probably like move to LA for a little bit, but not for extended amount of time, maybe a few months and then come back home. But for a minute I did find myself in a place where I was like, oh my God, Miami just I wasn't feeling the support that I'm feeling now. And but it's changed and I'm so grateful for that because I feel like me traveling out because I was in LA for a minute and New York for a minute, and I think them seeing me like being moving around in other places made them feel some type of way. So now I'm like getting so much support and love, and I appreciate it, and I'm ready to see what comes next.
Have you tried, especially with your team, because your team is very supportive of you and just everything that you do. Have you thought about trying to get on some of these pop stations? Because I know you're bigger than R&B to me, because I mentioned that before. You have records on here that transcend R&B. Have you thought about linking with different stations, not just in the R&B genre?
I don't we ha honestly, I don't think we've talked about it much, but that is a great idea,
Mhm.
and, we need to do that because I definitely feel like my sound is bigger than just R&B, and I want to branch out. I don't wanna be stuck in a box at all, ever.
No.
Um,
uh, but Tanier, is there anything else that you would love to let your fans know that we didn't discuss here tonight that you have on the way? Anything else that we didn't talk about?
Um, no, I would just say I like to leave with just saying, right now we're in a space where there's so much going on. There's so many things coming at us in like social media, but really try to stay true to who you are. Find who you are, find something you stand on and something you believe in, and don't let anybody knock you off of that. And once you figure out who you are and you believe in it, everyone else will believe in it. But if you're playing a role that isn't who you are or who you're supposed to be, it's never gonna fit. Oh gosh, it's never gonna fit. And yeah, just believe in who you are. Find what that is and believe in it.
I think that's some of the most important words that I've ever heard. And I hope that it comes into fruition. I just feel as though people are so caught up and caught out on the dopamine of social media that they're
Right?
never gonna find themselves.
Horrible. No, they need to find themselves so they can say you've never met a me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's how everyone has to feel. Now, and they have to be authentic about it because a lot of them say, "Oh, they never met a me," and then they're playing an acting role, and they're never gonna win that Academy Award.
Never, because if you can't even truly believe in it, nobody else is gonna believe in it. They're gonna feel that fakeness.
Yeah. I agree. I did want to touch on this because I just remembered the Fetty. You worked with Fetty Wap too.
Yeah, I
How
did.
was that?
That was great, like, especially during that time, like, his sound, especially on my song, it was "Love Me or Leave Me," it just fit perfectly. His vibe was perfect for that record.
Free Fetty Wap. And he was. I remember when he first came out. He set the world on fire when he came
He
out that year.
did.
And then it's just crazy to see what happened. Everything he touched was a hit record.
It really, really was, and, like, it was different too, especially during that time, so everyone was gravitating towards that because he found who he was, and he
Exactly.
was it. That's so important.
I agree. And then now you're going to be the go-to hit maker. Now people are going to be calling you up.
From your mouth to God's ears.
Yeah. Tanier, I want to thank you for coming on the show. Thank you to Andres and everyone just setting this up. And I appreciate everything that you're doing for the music industry and just the new album, Never Met a Me. I definitely think it's one of the best R&B albums out. And people need to go tune into this. People really have to
Thank
go
you
check this
so
out.
much. I appreciate you for having me, for
Of
real, and
course.
for the support.
I appreciate it. Anytime that you have a new project out on the way, anything that you have to do press on, you always have an open seat here on the show.
Thank you.
Of course. Let them know where they can follow you on Instagram, Teenear R on Instagram and X too.
Yes, you can find me on every social media platform at Teenear R. It's spelled Teenearr.
And there you have it. Teenear, thank you for coming on the show. And until the next time, all right?
Next time.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Andres.